Hi everybody, welcome back to Lady Lovestead Reads. My name is Jessica and the topic of today's video is a review, I've got to grab my book here, of this book, Silver Borne by Patricia Briggs. Hopefully we'll get this review in 10 minutes or less.
Welcome to the Lovestead.
Silver Borne was written by Patricia Briggs. It was published by Penguin in 2010. It's 292 pages in length. I purchased this book at my library's used bookstore, and the reason I read it is because it's part of my 3-book series project where I focus on reading 3 series and read 1 installment of the series every month. The goal of that is hopefully that I'll actually get through some book series. I have a tendency to read like the first 2 books and stop and go pick up something else and then come back to it. And then when I come back to this series, I have to then reread the first 2 books in the series, and that just got to be really tedious. So I decided to commit to 3 series, read them start to finish, 1 book a month. And so that's why I'm reading this. This is book 5 in the Mercy Thompson series, which is the one that I'm working through here, one of the 3. Patricia Briggs is an American author who lives in Montana. She has degrees in history and German from Montana State University, and she was a substitute teacher, but now she writes full-time. Let me read you the book blurb on the back. When Mercy Thompson, mechanic and shapeshifter, attempts to return a powerful Fae book she previously borrowed in an act of desperation, she finds the bookstore locked up and closed down. It seems the book contains secrets, and the Fae will do just about anything to keep it out of the wrong hands. And if that doesn't take enough of Mercy's attention, her friend Samuel is struggling with his wolf side, leaving Mercy to cover for him, lest his own father declare Samuel's life forfeit. All in all, Mercy has had better days, and if she isn't careful, she may not have many more. Doesn't that sound like every single book blurb for the series? Maybe that's me being hypercritical, but I feel like they need a new person to write those blurbs because they all sound exactly the same. Anyway, this book is about what the book blurb said. She's got this book that she borrowed from one of her Fae friends, and she tries to return it, but then he's missing. And then Samuel, the wolf that lives with her, the werewolf that lives with her, is really depressed, and he has let his wolf side take over because he basically wants to end his life. And so this isn't a completely split storyline. It's not like Samuel is one story and the Fae is another story. It's just like there's multiple things going on during the same story. So it's not like the last book, Bone Kiss, where it was a dual storyline that didn't work very well. This one was more integrated, and Samuel actually goes with her on a lot of her shenanigans trying to figure out this mystery with the book. I tend to really enjoy the Mercy Thompson books that are centered around the Fae for some reason. I just think the Fae are so mysterious and scary that I get a bit more absorbed and interested in the stories that deal with Fae magic as a focal point. And overall, I did enjoy this book. I thought that it was well paced. I like the characters. There is some criticism of this series, some people saying that they don't like how Patricia Briggs represents Mercy's healing from being raped in book 3, because like she is physical with a man pretty rapidly afterwards. And I guess what I want to say about that is that there's no prescription for how you heal from sexual assault. And healing from sexual assault is not a linear process. Like, you take steps forward and then take steps back. And it's that way for any kind of trauma that a person experiences. Healing isn't necessarily a linear process. So I think that Patricia Briggs is doing a fine job representing Mercy's experience and healing from the trauma from being raped. And she is illustrating a way that this character is healing in a non-linear way, which I think is good because it gives a lot of people out there who also have experienced that like 2 steps forward, 1 steps back kind of experience with healing. it gives them some representation there. And so I personally don't have an issue with how Briggs is representing that in this story. There are themes of suicide and depression, and it's interesting because it's not just like your typical human depression, because it's told through this magical being, the werewolf, and like the root of his depression comes from not having a pack. And so it's an exploration of depression, but not a human form of depression. So, you know, take or leave it. It didn't necessarily bother me, but I could see it potentially bothering folks who do suffer from major depressive disorder, and that it's not necessarily represented in the way humans actually experience it. It's more represented in a way that this magical being would experience it. So definitely trigger warnings for suicide attempt on page, for gaslighting, because the dang werewolves are still messing with Mercy. They're still ticked off that she's part of the pack, and I'm really hoping she develops some female friendships. Didn't happen in this book yet, but we'll see. Content warning for gaslighting, for violence and gore. And overall, I did give this book 3 stars out of 5. One thing I'll say about Patricia Briggs is that her books are consistently a 3-star rating for me. And the only one that went lower than that was Bone Cross, which was book 4. But 4 out of 5 books being consistently 3 stars, it's pretty good. I'm not gonna lie, that's an enjoyable series. So looking forward to continuing on to book 6. That'll do it for this review. Hope you enjoyed it. Hopefully I made it under 10 minutes. We'll see when I edit. And until next time, make sure that you continue to read good books, drink good coffee, take care of yourselves and each other. Bye.